Hey guys, Sam from Manfa Makes and
Miss Mike.
So welcome back to all our returners and hi to any newbies. It's so great to have you here. Please do stick around a while, and if you like what you see, please give us a thumbie. They are free, so you will be seeing this on Friday and every Friday here at Manfa Makes, unless something super duper exciting is happening, is Crochet Catch Up. And that is where we give you the lowdown on all the crochet or non-crochet we have done in the past week. There's a lot of non-crochet this week, sorry. Anyway, before we dive into the dramas that unfolded in the fibre time in this house this week, I would just like to say thank you to everybody who left such beautiful comments on yesterday's video. I really do appreciate it. But all the kindness and all the love should be given to the two other ladies that I mentioned. I just wanted to tell them that I love them. And I still do, always will. Anyway, so crochet, how I love it. And how I hate it when I don't get a lot of it done. So, no, I'll leave the disaster for in a minute. Let's dive inside this bag. I haven't shown this bag for a while, if at all. It's got Mingos on it, of course, because we all know that Manfa loves her Mingos, and it is a really nice big bag. Anywho, contained within this bag is everything that I am going to need for making the fairies that I have spoken about. That's going to be the hair, and that's all the colours for their bodies and clothes and all the beautifulness. And I actually made a start on one, and if you came to our live last week, you will have got a sneak peek. Now, I have done a smidgy bit more since the sneak peek, but for the majority of you, you won't have seen this yet. And that's fine, because that's why we do these videos as well. If you're not into lives, if you don't enjoy lives, if you can't attend because it's not a convenient time, we get it, it's cool. And that's why I like to recap on videos for those that can't or don't want to come to the lives. And even my potions and ouch is Mingos. And if you don't get the joke, a couple of weeks ago I said potions nouch rather than notions pouch, and it's just kind of stuck, and it's now a running joke on this channel. So when I say potions nouch, please know that I mean notions pouch. I'm just being silly. So what fairy am I making, I hear you ask? Well, there are all of them, 12 of them. Okay, and because I started this in July, I am making the fairy that's on July, which is the Forget-Me-Not fairy. Here she is. And it says, the Forget-Me-Not fairy, I've never seen a garden plot, but though I'm small, forget me not. Cute, right? Very. They've been sat waiting to be started on since Christmas. And I've only just started on one. However, these patterns are written in UK terms because it was from a UK magazine. So I'm having to convert, which is fine, because even though I'm UK, if you don't know, I prefer US stitches. I taught Mike the US stitches as well because that's what I find easier. They just make more sense to me. So what do I have done of said fairy? Let me show you. It's actually very cute. On the live, a lot of people said that's creepy because it doesn't have a head. So prepare yourselves. If you get freaked out by dolls, especially headless dolls, you might not want to watch this bit. Just a little disclaimer. Okay, are you ready? There she is! And I'm showing you... No, I'm not showing you the back. I was showing you the front. There she is. Now, there will be a dress that goes over the top of this. So these would be what I call her undercrackers, her underwear. So she's not naked. So then if the dress gets lifted, she is wearing an undergarment to protect her dignity, bless her. But there she is. And I don't know if my camera's going to be very good at picking it up, but this little lady even has calves. Can you see those? Like, the definition in her body parts are just beautiful. She's even got little kneecaps. And on her arms, how am I going to show you this? Let's turn around. She's even got elbows. Like, it's a very good body form. And you could use this for any doll you want to make. Make any dress to fit on it. You could make a gazillion billion different designs if you wanted to, if you had this generic body pattern. Now, she doesn't have a head, and there's a reason why she doesn't have a head. I tried making the head like 3 times, and I do not understand. They make you do a funny little thing that creates like a really weird lump. And I've spoken to Abby over at Blue Heart Crochet. She's also a UK podcaster. If you don't know her, check her out. I'll put a link down in the description. She's up in Liverpool. And she's got the calendar, and she's making the fairies, and she's made the holly one so far. So I said, I'm not quite understanding this weird lumpy thing on the head. I'm not understanding really where I'm supposed to put stitches. Is there any way that you can help? Because, you know, we always say that we can reach out and ask for help, and I encourage all of you to do that. If I can help you in any way, please reach out. I'm more than happy to try. And she said, yeah, it does seem strange, but as you keep going, it forms a chin. So it's not just a round, like, bobblehead. But I'm thinking that I might just do a round head and omit the chin, because I'm really struggling to wrap my brain around how this weird thing is going to turn into a chin. And I don't think it matters if they have chins or not. So I'll just do a stitch count to make the stitch count right, and then just do a circular head. I really don't think it's going to make much of a difference. I mean, looking at the... Where's she gone? It's not an overly pronounced chin to even know it's there. Do you see what I mean? I mean, obviously you can, but it's so subtle. I really don't think it's going to matter if I just do a round head, and I would get through this project so much quicker if I just do a round head. So I think that's the way I'm leaning. Anyway, as you see, she's got wings. So I've got the head to do, the hair, embroider the face, the dress, and then I need to do the wings. Well, I've done the 2 small ones. So she's got 2 small wings already. So I just need to do the big ones and a couple of the little embroidery bits on her wings. So they would be those, that one and that one, and then all those little embroideries. So yeah, head and hair and face, the big wings and the dress, and this little lovely will be done. So hopefully she will be an FO soon. So this is the success, other than not understanding the head, but I still got something to show, right? And I've started a project that has been waiting since Christmas. So I am really pleased with myself that I've actually found the time to make a start. So I hope you enjoy, and as soon as I've got more progress on her, I will come back and show you what I've got done. Now the yarn is all Rikarumi DK, so it's a lightweight 3, but I am using a 2mm hook, a 2.5mm hook, and eventually a 3mm hook. So they are itty bitty hooks for this, because the doll I think is only 12 inches when completed, but she's going to be so cute, and I'm so excited to see her completed, because I'm still really scared about using that mohair for her hair. I'm not even going to lie, but I will give it a go. So that's the success. Our other success is Tile of the Week Thursday, which you should have seen yesterday. If you haven't seen it, please do go back and watch. And like I said, if you don't know Abby from Blue Heart Crochet, please click on the link that I've put in the description box. Go check her out, and if you like what you see, give her a thumbie, but also subscribe to her channel and give her a little bit of yarny love, because that's what we do here. We help our yarny friends. Now, shall I do my disaster, or shall you do yours? I'll do mine. Right, okay. So, also on last week's live, You will know full well that Mike spent the whole thing trying to deal with my horrific yarn bath. Mike spent the previous night trying to deal with the yarn bath, the live night, and then he picked it up again on the Sunday. And to be fair to the man, he was done. He was over it. Like, you explain what the yarn bath was like. You were dealing with it.
It was horrendous. You had about 10 different yarn baths mixed in with... So the strand I needed to get out to wind it back up had yarn bath all the way across it. So you had yarn bath here with it going right through, and then the main bulk of the cake here, and here, and here, and here, and it went right through them all.
And it was attached to the shawl that I was working on as well. It was
It's horrendous. I managed to get it to the point where I was nearly done, and it was doing my head in though. And then we looked at the yarn, and it wasn't good enough to gift.
So Mike did manage to rewind most of the bath, most of the cake and the bath. He only had this much left of the bath, which, as you can see, it is literally horrendous. A rat's nest, guys, and he had already battled about 5 of these. The man spent hours trying to untangle it for me. I mean, hours. He wasted hours of last weekend trying to help me, and I am so appreciative. But he looked at me and he said, "This is doing my head in. I'm so close. I'm nearly there, but I'm so over it." So I said, "Well, hang on a minute before you waste any more time, because you've already spent a long period of time on it. Look at the yarn that you have managed to untangle and roll up. In your opinion, is the yarn still of a quality to put into an item that I am going to gift to someone?" And he went, "To be honest, babe, I wouldn't use it. And I know as soon as you look at it, you're not going to want to use it." So even after all those hours, it was unsalvageable anyway, because it really is. It's split. There's like tufts coming out of it. Some of it is fused and fluffed, and
there's extra knots in there now.
It's not picking it up on camera, but it just literally looks like
it's been battered.
It looks like it's been got hold of by a wild animal and shaken to absolute death. And it really, really isn't good enough quality, we feel, to put into something that I was making for a gift for a friend. Very, very good friend of mine. So that means my beautiful friend shawl that I am doing from OM Granny Square is not going to be completed with that yarn, and now it's even tangled up.
It just wants to tangle all the time.
So I had gotten this far. I mean, I think I had about 10 rows and then the border.
Yeah.
I was so nearly done. I think what I'm going to do is I'm going to cut it off, weave in my ends, and potentially gift this as well, because it was the original, but this can be more of a shawlette worn like this under a jacket or a coat as an extra layer, and it can still be of use. But I have started another one from scratch with the same yarn, but obviously a fresh brand new cake. And in order for me to be able to do that, I pulled the other cake off the yarn unit and I said, "Babe, I know you're so over Obi Twister, but we have been advised by one of our good friends that unless you have the elasticated cake condoms or yarn cozies to pull from the centre, you are always going to get barfage and you are always going to get knottage, because the cake collapses on itself. Whereas if you rewind from the outside into a ball and work from it in this format, you should not get much barfage or knots or any of the issues that we encountered from me pulling from the centre. Now, I still think this was a bad cake, because 10 factory knots, and I know even on the live you said, or some of you said, That's normal, and I know even on their website they say it will contain factory knots, but the ones in the live said you will get it with every colour change. I'm sorry, but 10 factory knots is a little excessive in my opinion. And when Mike was balling up the new one, how many did you find?
5.
So you've got this cake that had 10, double the amount of the other cake, the exact same colourway, exact same yarn, had 5, which is half the amount. So I'm sorry, this was a duff cake in my opinion. And even if you pull from the centre and that whole colour comes away because it's striped, you should not just try and gently tease it and it go and be this. That is not normal.
That, what you're holding in your hand, had been untangled 3 times.
And
So
even when
it
you're
was to
trying...
the point where I was nearly done.
Yeah.
And then when I tried to get the bit that I'd done free, it tangled again. It is a nightmare.
So, I personally will not be buying Twister with my own money going forward after this bad experience. This Twister that I'm using was gifted to me in Happy Mail. It's beautiful, soft yarn. And actually, to be fair, that might be a bit harsh and quick for me to say, because now that Mike has balled the other one, which I will show you, I'm not having this issue. I'm not getting so stressed. So I would either have to get it balled before use, therefore I would buy Twister, but only on sale because it is very pricey yarn. But it's not going to be in my top 5 Hobie yarns, put it that way. So I have started again, guys. Right back from the beginning. There it is. Mike balled it for me. So the darkest outer colour is right in the centre. I am literally, I would say, only a few rows from the first colour change. I did manage to get this far on the new one this week. Because remember, a lot of time was wasted with the trying to unbath and stuffs. So there we go. Not as far as the other one, but a really great start considering I had to start all over again. And obviously the fairy as well and tile of the week. So I'm on 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20, 21, 22, 23, 24, 25, 26. I've done 27 rows. And I believe that it's 50 something rows and then the border. So I'm about halfway-ish again. So I will snip the yarn, weave it in, give it as a little shawlette to wear on the front. And I will complete this to the end. So I will put a stitch marker on this edge row, and then hopefully next week I will come back and show that there is more progress being put on this as well. And now my recipient gets 2 gifts, right? You've got to find the silver lining in these situations. My recipient will now get 2 gifts, not just one. And one can be just a neck warmer and one can be the shawl as I intended, the hug that I intended. And also, if you saw my video of the drive, I explained that I am going to stop putting myself under so much pressure to join every crochet along that is going. I'm going to try and concentrate on doing projects that I feel I need to do, want to do, and have more of a purpose than just because everybody else is doing it. And ending up with things that literally just get boxed up or put in a corner. So there will probably be less things to show as time goes on because I'm going to be more focused in what I'm making. But I am going to love it because I am getting them done. I am showing them they have a purpose. And that is the direction I want to go. Anyway, over to your disaster.
My disaster.
And I feel so bad.
Is sat in this lovely wolf bag because the wolf is my favourite animal.
Yeah, so I got Mingo's, he's got a wolf.
Now, some of you may not know because I haven't touched this for months, but I am making an amigurumi. It is a Highland cow or Highland coo, as some people say.
Yeah.
And I managed to get to some hairy bits where the hair was coming off because Highland cow's hairy. You won't see that today because I've ripped it out.
Show them the
But
pattern.
I can show you the pattern,
Yeah.
yes.
I believe it's cottontail and whiskers.
It is cottontail and whiskers. I just
It's
need
a
to
paid
find the
for
front
pattern.
page.
My Beautiful Friend Shawl, both of them, I will link where to get the pattern. It's a paid pattern, and I'll also link OM Granny Square because My Disaster is nothing to do with Ursula's amazing pattern. It is all yarn and user shenanigans. It's a beautiful pattern, highly recommend it, very worth the price, so go check those out. There we go.
So there is the pattern I am making. I am making this middle one, which is haggis, I believe.
So there's Tunnock, haggis
Yes,
and midge.
and they're of different sizes, and they're all in this pattern.
Yeah, you get all three.
Mm-hmm.
Bargain. I'll link it below, but remember it's paid for.
Right. So I can show you this bit, the legs, because I managed to get these legs done, and I had 3, maybe 4 rows of hair.
We don't know how many rows.
Because I put it down for so long, I forgot.
And he didn't make a note of
Didn't
where
make
he
a
was.
note of it. So we frogged it back because we could not figure out which one it was. And then we got to the frogged out bit, or where we got to with it, and the stitch count was wrong.
Because?
Because I don't count.
Mike never counts his rounds. The stitch count to Mike may as well not be there. Because...
Now, obviously that's wrong, because it's
well,
gone wrong.
Hang on, we can't say it's wrong, because there are bigger channels than us that don't always follow stitch counts, because they either adapt it more to their taste, they're more experienced, and they know how these things work and can fudge to their heart's content and be more relaxed with it because they've got more experience.
Yeah.
Mike does not have that experience. This is only, what, your third amigurumi?
Yep.
And it's more of an intermediate pattern.
I mean, it's even got knees.
And it was gorgeous.
It was
absolutely
doing well,
gorgeous.
but I forgot where I was.
So I think it's fair to say the lessons Mike has learned is if he walks away from a project, he needs to note down clearly where he is next.
Yep.
And
I was really gutted.
if he needs to frog, it would be so much easier if the stitch counts were kept to and done, so that I would, because if he had done the stitch counts correctly, we would not even have to frogged back the hair, because I could have just looked at the stitches between the hairs, and I would have been able to have gone, well, on that row there are 8 single crochets between hairs, and you've got 8 single crochets, so you must be on
I was
X
going
row.
along, and when I was doing it, and I was doing it daily, I was going along, and
because it was fresh in your mind,
I thought I had the legs right, and then when I was doing the hair, it didn't quite match, so I fudged. And I know how to fudge a little bit, so I thought, oh, I'm doing alright.
But you were making it
I put
work,
it down,
and you didn't right where you were.
It didn't work.
So guys, Mike's biggest bit of advice for you is, if you are going to follow amigurumi and you're fairly new to it like he is,
Count.
listen to the ones with a little more experience. Count your rows, count your stitches, make sure your stitch count is correct. Use a stitch marker to know your first or last stitch, and clearly note where you have left off in the pattern.
Yes. So I started again.
Yes, after a massive mantrum.
I had a mantrum.
And I have to tell you that he had a mantrum, because, oh my goodness. And he didn't like it when I turned round to him and said, it's all of your own doing, my love.
It's fine. Anyway, I'm starting again.
Yes, he is.
I'm not
Positive
doing
thinking.
it very quickly,
Nope.
or I am going at my own pace now.
Yep.
And if I don't want to do it, I'm not doing it, because it wound me up that much.
Yeah.
But I have started the feet again, but I haven't done very much.
He's done 2 rows of the first hoof.
Yes. Well, I only started last night, and then I started watching other YouTubers.
Yeah. My friends.
Yes.
Yeah.
And then just thought, nah, I'll have enough.
So,
But if the hoof is done in Stylecraft Special Aran,
Yeah, which is a 4-way.
it's
guys.
100% premium acrylic. It's a 4-way. The colour shade is Aster.
Yep.
It can be washed at 30 degrees
Celsius.
It can be cool tumble dried. It can be cool ironed, which I don't suggest you do anyway.
Recommend.
It may be dry cleaned. It recommends a 5mm knitting needle or a 5mm hook, but I am using a 4mm because I am making Haggis.
Yes.
Who is the middle
size
on that
coup.
picture.
Yeah.
And that's pretty much all the stats.
But also, guys,
I know it was made. It's naturally anti-pilling, apparently.
Yeah.
Made
in Turkey, I believe.
Doesn't say. Oh yeah, made for Stylecraft under license in Turkey.
Yeah. But serious question, and I hope some of you will be able to answer it down in the comments. When you make amigurumis, they've got the polyfill in. Would you really recommend washing them in the washing machine? Because surely you are not going to be able to get all the dampness out of this without them getting all mouldy and horrible inside. Would you just recommend spot cleaning? Dusting? Like, how do you clean your amigurumis? Let me know, because it's all very fine Mike giving you the washing instructions if you're making a blanket. But making an amigurumi, I don't really know if, like, your other stuffies that you buy from the stores, you can put in the washing machine, hang them on the line, they dry absolutely fine, as far as we know, because we're not going to cut them in half and check, are we? But how do you guys, if you guys have washed amigurumis, how do you do it? Are they safe to put in the washing machine and just dry as you would any other stuffy? Or would you just spot clean and leave them somewhere where they're not going to get dusty? I don't know. Fill me in. You teach me something, because a girl needs to know. But yes, this absolutely devastated Mike, because he had gotten so far, he was so proud of himself, and it was looking awesome, I have to say. I have seen that pattern do the rounds on the YouTube streets, and even before I was on YouTube, I have seen the pattern before, and I have been intimidated to try it. So the fact that this is only his third amigurumi, he wanted to go for it and get it done, and he was doing a decent job as far as we could tell at the time, because Manfa didn't know he wasn't counting. Manfa didn't know he wasn't following the rules. Otherwise Manfa would have told him a lot earlier, pack that in, do it properly. Because he's just not experienced to fudge it like some other people that are. But anyway, he was fudging fine, but then when he put it down and didn't write down where he got to, he kind of realised, uh-oh. And I did try and help, didn't I? Yeah. I tried to figure out what row he was on, and then I'm like, right, well, let's just rip back all the hair rows, get back to your joining row of joining the feet, and if you've got the correct stitch count, I can get you started again where you need to be to start your hair rows again. Or if you're not at the right stitch count, maybe I can fudge this to get to the stitch count you need for you to move on, and you don't have to lose it all. But his stitch count was so far out wrong, there was no way I could fudge it without it looking not very good. So I said, you're going to have to either say, I am going to take a break from this pattern and attempt it in the future.
But I can't do that.
Because right now I don't want to do it, but I know why he can't do that. Or you just start from scratch, but this time mark your first stitch of every row, count your stitches and make sure you have the right stitch count. And if you walk away from it, note down what row you left it on or what row you are on next. And he took it on board after he had calmed down from his tantrum, and he is starting again. I know he hasn't got very far, but I think he really will, like he said, take it at his own pace, because if he starts getting frustrated at it again, if he gets angry at it again, it's not going to be conducive to getting the project done. And like you guys keep telling us, if you're not enjoying the craft or the thing you're making, put it in time out, walk away, come back to it at a later date, or just go, this isn't for me. Don't be miserable while you craft.
No.
Especially seeing as this has a very special end goal. That's all I'm going to say.
It I have intentions for it.
So he is determined to try again, but he is going to take it slow, pace himself, do every I and cross every T and do it all how I have tried to tell him to do it. And hopefully we will have success this time. And hopefully every week he'll be able to come on and show you the progress right from the start again. So if you're new here and you didn't see the original, you get to see it from the beginning again, which is amazing.
What? I'm not touching any other crochet. So this is all I'm going to be doing.
That's where he stands now. I would just say, just keep it in the back of your head that if you need a break from amigurumi, you can start something different.
I need to get it done though.
We'll discuss that off camera. You don't need to hear us bickering about it. I just know though that when you get into a project, you go hell for leather, and then you get tired of it, and you barely pick it up, and it sits there not being loved, and you also don't work on anything else either. Anyway, like I said, we'll discuss it off camera. You guys don't need to know this, do you, really? So, yeah, I've got the start of a fairy. Woohoo! Massive pro point of the week. Biggest downer. I'm going to have to chuck a lot of yarn away. Don't shout at me for chucking it away, because honestly, guys, it is not salvageable. It really isn't salvageable. It is done. So, it's going to be laid to rest in my trash can. I'm sorry, but...
And when I've done all 4 legs, I'm going to use the same filler.
Yes.
So I'm not going to get...
No, the recycled filler will be...
It will be used. But this will be a reminder right up until it's finished, and then it'll go in the bin.
Listen to Manfa. And you know what? I think what might be... Actually, it wouldn't be... It'll be funny for me, but it would wind him up. Is when he's working on it, just randomly go, listen to Manfa. Listen to Manfa.
Yeah, the amigurumi would get thrown at you.
At least it's soft, right? He wouldn't chuck nothing nasty at me. Anyway, so there we have it. A disastrous coup that needs to be restarted. A disastrous shawl that needs to be restarted, but... The first one will be salvaged and gifted, but the yarn will not be salvaged. It is going away. It's going bye-byes. And a fairy, finally, in the making. So, not a lot, but a lot of drama. And like I said, I am going to be more mindful about the things that I am making, the things that I am crocheting, being a little bit selfish for a little while and getting some of my personal... things that I want to make ticked off my list, potential gifts that I want to give people done, maybe make a start on Halloween and Christmas, because it's going to be here before you know it, guys, and just not pressure myself. I am pressured at work, I am pressured as a parent, as is Mike. Adulting is hard. Putting children before ourselves all the time takes its toll, but hey, that's what we signed up for. It's not a problem. But with all the other areas that have got pressures and stresses and strains, crochet for me, I've told you before, is my only time where I am thinking of nothing else other than the beautiful thing that I am creating and enjoying that yarn running through my fingers and seeing what I am capable of doing. I just totally de-stress, don't I? I am at my least when I'm crocheting.
And I get more stressed.
But over time that will lessen. Hopefully. But I can only speak for me. My crochet time is my zen time, is my chill time, is my complete shut everything else out and just be in that moment with my yarn. That sounded wrong, but you know what I mean. So I am now going to take that one step further and, like I say, do the projects I want to make for a change. Do the gifts I want to make for people that I love. Make a start on any decor that I want for Halloween or Christmas, or even gifts for Christmas, to give myself a head start, because then that will take off the stress at Christmas time, right? Because I've already got some stuff done. I'm trying to be a little bit more mindful of what I'm making, and that I don't have to come on here on Crochet Catch Up and have 5 things to show every time, because it's just not possible. Last week I did dishcloths. I didn't need, or washcloths. I did need the washcloths, but they weren't urgent. But the priority for me was, I need something else to show. I've got hardly anything else to show. I'm going to stop doing that to myself, because you have all told me, even if I only have one thing to show, or even if we both come on here saying you're expecting a crochet catch up, but there was no crochet, we're sorry, we're going to have a chat instead. You just want to spend time with us, and we need to stop pressurizing ourselves. So I'm going to try and listen to you guys. And I know a couple of other podcasters or content creators that are doing the same, because we all just get overwhelmed, and I'm in an overwhelmed phase. I don't want to burn out. Okay, so I'm just taking it at a more relaxed, easy flow at the moment, and I hope you will stay with me and bear with me until I get my go back again, which I'm sure I will. And at least I haven't lost my Crojo completely, right? Because that would be devastating. I could not live with that. That cannot happen to Manfa. Happens to the best of us. Anyway, guys, we have chatted your ears off for the best part of, well, it's over 35 minutes now. So we are going to let you go. Please, please, please enjoy your weekend ahead. There will be a video tomorrow, and it'll probably be a little quick tour of how the cubes and stuff behind has changed. Then our live tomorrow as well, so if you can, if it's your thing, come along, join in, say hi. We always have a giggle, don't we? And it is my favourite bit of interacting with you all week, so I really look forward to those. So come to our live if you can. If not, don't worry. And then after that, you know, there's daily content here at Manfa's Makes. I don't always know what I'm going to provide for you guys, but there will always be something. So thank you so much for sticking with us. Thank you for your patience. Thank you for letting us unload our little dramas and rants sometimes. You guys are amazing. You just are really, really good friends. And once more, what I have witnessed this week in the Yarny community is uncomparable to anything else I've ever known, and I am so proud to be a part of the community and be amongst such wonderful people, and that includes each of you watching, whether you have content or not. We are all one big community. We need to build each other up, we need to be kind, and we need to give help and support where needed, and that is exactly what happened this week. And I am still on cloud 9 that our community did it. So thank you all. We will see you tomorrow, but until then,
stay safe,
be kind,
look after one another,
get some good quality time in with your loved ones,
get quality crafting time.
Yeah, we didn't. We'll see you in the next one,
or around the YouTube street.
Bye guys, love you loads. Check out those links. Thank you muchly. Bye.